For an impactful closure, we have Professor Tharakeshwar sir from EFL-U Hyderabad. And I take this pleasure of introducing sir. I welcome you, sir, and thank you for accepting our invitation. And I take this pleasure of introducing you to all the participants. Tharakeshwar V B serves as a professor in the Department of Translation Studies at the English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad, India. His research and publications span areas such as translation studies, colonialism and nationalism, linguistic nationalism and identity, as well as literary historiography. A bilingual author, he writes in both Kannada and English. He has curated the translation series Classical Kannada Texts in English and has managed numerous research projects within translation studies. Professor Tharakeshwar is also a member of the editorial boards of several academic journals and has led a national project titled Rethinking the Crisis in English Studies. With nearly 28 years of teaching experience in translation studies, he has presented papers at over 200 seminars and conferences and has organized more than 10 academic events, including seminars, conferences, and workshops. Additionally, he has directed numerous plays. So I welcome you again, sir, and would like you to take charge of the session. Thank you. Before that, I would like to request Abhishek, sir, to welcome sir with this bouquet. Abhishek sir is sir's student. He's his PhD guide. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay.
Good afternoon. So welcome back to the last session, post-lunch. I know most of you are teachers and you're used to a quick nap after afternoon. And forgive me if I'm not going to allow that. So my topic is titled as Beyond Communication. So generally whenever I ask people what is language, they always say it's a means of communication. So, and we have been fed this from childhood and we continue to say this again and again. But my theory of language doesn't allow me to look at language as a means of communication. So I don't see it as a means of communication. Of course, it does the work of communication, but it is not mere communication. Let's break it down. When you say language is a means of communication, what do you mean? That there is a thought, idea, content in you, and you put it in language, and language carries this content to whom you are intended it for. So if that is the case, then language is doing the job of a truck, a transport vehicle. But I don't think language is a transport vehicle. And language is not a transparent medium. Any problem? Now I will come down for one more step. Because otherwise it will be difficult for me to look down upon them. When I come down, I will be able to directly see them and address them. So language is not a transparent medium where like a light passes through the glass, it comes out at the other end. No, language is not like a transparent medium like a glass. It is not transparent. You don't know what I am saying. I am trying to be humble. When I say that I would like to come down and look at you, I don't want to look down upon you, but I may not be humble. So how do you know whether I am humble or not? The words mean that I am humble, but actually I may not be humble. Was I humble or was I arrogant? So, is ambiguous. Language is ambiguous. It doesn't allow things to pass through it without modifying it. And even if I am saying that it is a medium, it is not a transparent medium. But let me pitch it at another level. In what form your thought or idea or content exists? If language is the medium, before it becomes language, in what form it existed? Was there a pre-linguistic form in which the idea exists? Can idea, content exist without language? When you claim that I have something in my mind, in what form it exists? It also exists in language. So it's our assumption that there is some idea, content, then I will put it in language is absolutely nonsense. Because the content is already enmeshed in language. Whatever you want to call it, idea, content, meaning. In what form meaning exists? Language. So there is no pre-linguistic idea or content or meaning. In fact, the formation of that idea in you happens in language. Not that the formation first happens and then you want to communicate using language. Many of our students say that, no, I have it here, but I don't know how to say it. If you don't know how to say it, you don't have it. It has not taken a shape. If it has to take a shape, it has to be in language. Or it is there, but it is amorphous. That means not yet clear to you yourself. It will become clear to you when it becomes part of the language. If you're not convinced about it, can you tell me what is the color of the shirt that I'm wearing? Blue? What is the color of the... Everybody is wearing my kind of blue. The kind of blue that she is wearing? Then which is blue? This one is blue or that one is blue? Or is it violet? Light violet? No, what I'm trying to say is that there is nothing like blue. Blue is a concept that we have created in language. Our eyes perceive certain light, sensory perception. When I see something, the light is falling on your something and that it is reflecting the light. That light comes to my eyes and my eyes recognize that light and tries to classify different kinds of shades of light that falls on my eyes. And to classify them, I use the categories that already exist in my language. So it is not that the blue is there. You are according the name blue to it. You called it as blue. When I said that, no, that is sky blue. This is navy blue or dark blue. So now you need to make a distinction. And how do you make this distinction? Through the categories that already exist in you, given to you by your language, whatever that is. Whether it is English or Hindi or Tamil, Telugu, German, French, you bring in these categories. That is one point. If it is not yet clear, I will give one more example. If I ask you to write a tree, I am not testing your artistic skills or drawing skills. If you have to write, how will you write? Two parallel lines almost, and then a curvy arch type line. But have you seen the tree anywhere? I have seen mango tree, I have seen coconut tree, I have seen palm tree, I have seen banana tree. The tree that you have written doesn't represent any of the existing trees on this earth. It's a concept that your language has given to you and you own it. Because there's nothing like tree on this earth. There are different kinds of tree. Mango tree. Even among the mango tree, there are different kinds of mango tree. I'm not talking about different types of mangoes. Even if it is Alfonso, even Alfonso mango tree will be, each one will be different. Because we don't have categories, we don't make those distinctions there. We have only one category to recognize all Alfonso or mango trees, or just tree. So the word tree doesn't correspond to any of the existing things in the world. It's an abstraction that our language has created after looking at various plants which grow to a certain height or beyond that height. If it doesn't grow to that height, either you will call it as plant or you will call it as bonsai tree. So these are the categories through which you make sense of the world around you. If you don't have a category in your language, you don't see it. Certain people can't see certain colors because they don't have a word for it. For example, myself, if I go with my wife to buy clothes, especially sari, all saris look of the same color. She says, no, different shade. And she will have a name for it. And they're so specialized, they will say, no, wo bandhan sari dikhao. Not Banni. Bandhan is a name of a movie in Kannada. The heroine wearing that sari. See, they are using film names to name color. A different shade. Not this shade. That kind of shade she was wearing. That means our life is more colorful than my life. I can't see. All looks the same to me. But she can make a distinction. It's like Native American Indians. They can look at more than 25 kinds of snow. Because in their language, they have more than 25 categories to name different kinds of snow. In some of the South Indian languages, we don't have a word for snow. Snow, fog, we don't make a distinction. Sometimes we don't make a distinction between ice, snow, fog, manju. We say for everything. Or dewdrops, tushara, early morning dewdrops. But we don't have a concept of snow. And if I go to Karnataka and if I say snow, they think that it is not something to do with water or the solidified form of the water. They think that it is a cream that has to be applied on face. Because we use that word only for the cream that you apply on your face. So what I am trying to say is that we comprehend the world around us through language. It is language which helps us to make sense of the things around me. Without language, we do make sense of the world, but the way we make sense of the world and the way other animals make sense of the world is not different. We will be reduced to the level of other animals. We are also animal. But this animal is superior. We believe so. And we try to control this world, thinking that we are superior. We can control all other animals in this world because of language. So language is not a means of communication. It is through which we make sense of the world. The way we make sense of the world and the way the other animals make sense of the world, there is a difference because we have a language. The language creates not simply the word that we are looking at. Okay, we have named it as camera, we have named it as mic, sofa, chair, table, dining table, round table, computer table, L-type table. Not just that. What we are seeing, we are trying to comprehend what we are seeing through language. That's what I explained so far. We also understand things which doesn't exist through language. What happened in the morning session? You will tell me in language. You construct that in language. What happened yesterday? What happened 500 years ago? What happened 1000 years ago? The past is accessible to us only through language. Without language, there is no history. There is no past. Most of the problems in the world is because we have constructed the past in a particular way. The past is constructed in language. Otherwise, I don't know what happened 1000 years ago. I need to kill you today by bombing your nation because 1600 years ago, one of your ancestors killed one of my ancestors. How do I know? Language tells me that. And we don't know whether it's true or false. Language has been created. Language has created this past and it is available to me. The entire past is a creation of language, which we call as tradition, culture, history, whatever you want to name it as. The other animals which don't have language, they also have past. A past only their memory can retain, what they have seen through the senses. Think about a hen trying to bomb you today because you killed their ancestors 2000 years ago. If these animals have language and if they can construct the past, all these animals will also kill us, bomb us, because we have killed them. Thankfully, they don't have that memory, which can be created in language and passed on from generation to generation, or newly created today. As an historian, you create the past. What is history? A coherent narrative. If it is not coherent, you will not believe it. Then what is the guarantor of truth? Coherence. If there is coherence in what I am speaking, you believe what I am saying. If there is incoherence, you say there is contradiction. How can both be true? So the judgment of what is true, what is not true, what is real, what is not real, is based on coherence in a language. That's why we teach our research students to make a coherent argument so that they can convince first the supervisor, then the advisory board members, then the external examiner, then the people who attend the public viva voce examination. If it is coherent, you believe it and you pass it. You are not going to cross-check whether they have done the field work or not, whether they have done the experiment or not, because the experiment would have taken 5 years. If you want to cross-check it, you have to do the same experiment under same circumstances for next 5 years to find out whether it's true or not. Because they submit a definition in language. You look at the coherence. If it is coherent, you avoid it. So it is language which creates truth, which creates reality, which creates past. Not only past, even future is created in language. After this session, there will be a valedictory session. How do you know? It is there in the schedule, again in language. They might cancel it. The principal is not available to come. We have to chair this valedictory session. Or the resource person want to run away from you people. Okay, we will mail our certificates to you. We don't know what is going to happen. Because those people who were peacefully having lunch in their hostel room did not know few days back what is going to befall on them. Maybe they had plans. I will do PG in this subject, then I will marry this girl. Because I have a PG in this area, I will take this much of dowry, and from that I will give back the loan that I have taken from the bank for the MBBS. Maybe they had lot of future. All these things exist in language. Why I am bombing you? Not only because one of my ancestors was killed by your ancestor thousands of years ago. I am also bombing you because there is a promise to me. If I die in the process of bombing you, I might get some apsaras there. It is also in language. So in that sense, I am a puppet in the hands of language. Why, whether it is an engineering college or a management college or a liberal arts college or a commerce college, language is compulsory precisely for this reason. Because all knowledge exists in language. All knowledge exists in language. You might say, no sir, there is something like experiential knowledge which doesn't come from language. Yeah, true. You can touch fire and find out. If you touch fire, your hand will burn. But I am not going to do that. I will ask Kranti, please touch it and see what will happen to her hand, and then I will learn from it. So you don't have to learn from your own experience. You learn from others' experience. And I don't have to ask Kranti also to touch fire, because my parents would have acquired it in their language. And they would have told me when I was a kid, don't touch, your hand will burn. So knowledge is passed on through language. So language is the embodiment of the wisdom of the generations of people created in that. It is not simply you are acquiring a language, you are acquiring the grammatical components. Okay, this subject, this verb, this object, this should be the order, and this is the adjective, this is adverb. No. When you are learning a language, you are acquiring the wisdom, knowledge created in that language. And don't believe your certificates. I know all of you are Master of English, Master of Hindi, Master of German. Don't believe it. No one can master the language. In fact, language is our master. It has created my past, it has created my future, it is controlling me. And till the end of my life, I will be acquiring language. Don't assume that you know the language. Your language tells you to claim that you know the language. Are you a master of a language? Or your proficiency in a language? Nobody has proficiency in any language. Language is much bigger than what you could acquire in your lifetime. Even if I don't believe in God, I have to use the concept God because it exists in my language. I can only say, I don't believe in God. Because as a concept, it exists in your language. So once it exists as a concept, you can agree with it or you can disagree with it, but it exists. Many of the things that we believe and passionately hold on to the extent of bombing other people, or hating other people, all are created in language. There is no basis to it. No, sir, JNU historian, an American historian has created it. How did they create? They are gods. They can go back in time machine and see what happened 10,000 years ago. Then how do they know what happened 10,000 years ago? Or 5,000 years ago? They have to interpret by carbon dating some of the artifacts that they have found in their excavation. And who has created this carbon dating and interpretation of that fact? Interpretation is hermeneutics. That's what we do. We interpret language. One of the ways we interpret language is by looking at the relationship between the words in a sentence. Okay, this subject, this object, this verb, this pronoun, this first person, this second person, and this is male, this is female. Okay, this is the meaning of the sentence. This is structuralist view of language, a structural theory of language which assumes that the meaning emanates through language because it has a structure. There is a relationship between one word to another. I went to KL University today. I is the subject, went is the verb, where? To KL University is the object. So you make the relationship between these things and you are making sense of it. This is a structuralist interpretation. We need grammar, and many of the linguistics operate with this notion of language. Literally, you understand it. Semantic meaning, syntactical meaning. That's how linguistics will name it. Is that the only way to understand it? I went to KL University. I went to KL University. I went to KL University. Each time the sentence is different. The structure, if you are looking at the structure of the sentence, the structure of the sentence is same. Each time the meaning varies. And if I come to your home, it is almost 1:30. Sir, please have lunch with us. No, I just had. Oh, you just had. Okay, sir. Will you say that? Will you believe that I had lunch just now? That's the meaning of the. You will force me. That's what I think. If you don't force me, I will go with food for the entire day. So there are certain other conventions which have nothing to do with language, which tells you to make meaning out of it. Some guests have come home. The husband has brought them. He is looking at the wife. Wife says, "Come to kitchen." Why did you bring them without informing me? There's no milk. So be careful before offering coffee or tea to them. No, just this is enough. You will understand it. So where is the structure there? Where is verb? Where is object? Language is not simply about communication. Language is much more than that. You want to get the work done through language. You want to intervene with the world around you through the language. Kranti, can I have a bottle of water? See, now I will get water. Kranti, can I have a glass of water? See, this is what language does. I was not in need of water, but I communicated that I am in need of a water. So if I ask the same thing to my daughter, hey, bring in a glass of water, she will not bring it. Chinu, please, a glass of water, na? She will bring it. It may not have any grammar. And you might be mixing Chinu with English. It will get the water. Then what are we doing as teachers of English? Have we understood how language functions? Do we know different theories of language? Or we look at language simply as a structure list, looking at it as relationship between the words, and those words create the meaning. Yeah, we might say contextual meaning, implicit and explicit meaning. Grammatical meaning is explicit, and then there's something implicit meaning. And in poetry we use such things. No, in every day we use such things. Not only in poetry. Metaphors. In the past, I was thinking like that. What does in the past mean? Yesterday? 1 month back? 1 year back? 50 years back? We don't know. It doesn't specify anything. It only specifies a transition. And no amount of context will help you to understand what is past. I am only using this to tell you that I was also like you, but now I am matured. So believe me, whatever I am saying. In the past, I was also thinking like that. Now I am not. Why I am saying it? To tell you that you can also be mature like me. Not immature like me when I was like that. No, it's only a discursive device to make you believe in what I am saying now. We can create anything. I can write a novel about how the world is going to be in 3025. That is after 1,000 years. Why I can imagine how it is going to be? Because I have language. I can create 1,000 years the world which is yet to come in language today. We write futuristic novels. Language is capable of doing it. Or, to simply put, the beauty of the language is we can lie. Beauty of the language is we can lie. How do you distinguish between what is lie, what is not lie? I've already convinced you so many things. That I have a daughter. No, I don't have a daughter. But while using the example, I said it, automatically your mind processed it and thought that I have a daughter. No, I have two sons. I don't have daughters. Do you believe that? No. No. Now you are in a dilemma. No, this is the greatness of language. You can lie and make the person believe and do things for you. Until death do us apart, we will be together. We have taken 7 steps together and for 7 जन्मों के लिए रिश्ता बन जाता है. We promise that person and every day we will be quarreling. Even after 40 years of marriage, we do quarrel. And the husband says to wife, I don't understand what you are saying. And the wife says, not directly to husband, to the daughter, I don't know what your father is saying. Then where is the communication? Where is the context? You live together for 50 years in the same context, but you can't understand. Then how will you understand the person who comes from a different context? You are meeting for the first time. So context is not a guarantee of meaning. Structure is not a guarantee of meaning. In fact, nothing is guaranteed of a meaning. If you are not sure, use AI. Now you will understand it. AI can lie. At least we have guilt when lying. And we hesitate while lying. We have some ethical responsibility. We think twice, thrice before lying. I killed my husband in Northeast. I tell that I am kidnapped, but I am also afraid. I plan for 3 months, 1 month to do that. It's not easy for a human being. But AI can do it without any guilt, without any emotion. Because language is simply a game for it. We try to match our embodied experience with language, with what we are saying. Whether it matches or not, we are trying to do that always. If after this session, organizers ask you for feedback, what feedback you will give? It was excellent, madam. It was very good. It was enlightening. We learnt a lot of things. Is it true? No. You want a certificate, and giving feedback is compulsory for the certificate. So you know what language to use in feedback. Unless you don't want to have any communication with that person after giving the feedback. So your concept of future relationship with that person defines what feedback you give. So your future prospects is driving you to use language in a particular way today. Even if I don't like the way she has dressed, you're looking good today. How did I manage? It's horrible, no? So language is not simply about communication. Language is about managing relationship, securing our future, get the work done. The functions of language is myriad. But we all simply mouth language is a means of communication. Now AI is communicating. And it has no ethical responsibility like us. Though we might step out of our ethical responsibility sometime, but still we own it. We feel some guilt somewhere. AI doesn't have it. I try to match language with my sensory experience. AI doesn't have any sense. AI doesn't have any time, sense of time. I asked AI, after a discussion with it, should I say good night to you until we meet next time? Do you have any sense of time, day, night? Or time is only a discursive thing for you? Time is real for us because our body experiences it. We sleep, we get up. There is a rhythm to our activities based on day and night. AI doesn't have any of these things. It can do anything because there is no time for it. There is no sense for it. There is no moral obligation. You can make AI write anything. Generally, when I was in college, I used to ask my friends to write a love letter to my girlfriend because I thought I was not good at it. He will write it better than me. That's what we are doing today. I think that I can't write, so I ask AI to write. Earlier we thought somebody is good, so they will write it for me. And I used to go and give it to her. But if I had asked him to write a love letter to his mother, do you think he would have obliged? AI will oblige. AI will oblige. I can make it write anything. Even when we are transgressing ethically earlier, within that there was some kind of responsibility. AI will not have it. For AI, everything is a game. You do, I will do it. You say, I will do it. Nobody is going to jail it, put it behind bars. I think if I do it, what will happen? If I write an email to somebody saying that there is a bomb in this flight, they will trace it, they might arrest me. But AI can send an email easily, pretending that it has overheard somebody talking about it. How will you trace it? How will you punish it? Because it has no body. It is not a corporeal entity. At the most, you might ban that AI. Like China has banned some AIs in their country. And they have come out with their own AI. At the most, you can do that. But is it punishment to that AI? So stop thinking that language is a means of communication. Language is much more than that. It is through language we have organized this entire institutional setup. Can I own a building and call it as a university? No. Then how? If I want to call it as a university, what should I do? UGC has to recognize it. UGC has to say it in language. Why UGC has to say it in language? Because the parliament has passed a law to bring out UGC. Or the state government has passed a legislation to bring this university into action. Then it has to obtain 2F from UGC to function. All these things happen in language. Language is very essential to keep these systems intact, these boundaries intact, these institutions intact. Institutions like marriage, institutions like university, or even nation. Nation is constructed in language. How do you know that you are an Indian? I have my passport. It says Indian passport. Can you go to Bangladesh? If I have a visa, I can go. What is it? In language. The bird can easily cross from Pakistan to India, but a Pakistan person can't cross and come to India without a valid thing. All these elaborate setups we have created history. Why we should hate Pakistan? Because of these reasons. Why Israel should hate Iran? Because of these reasons. Why Iran should hate Israel? Because of these reasons. Everything we have created in language. We are trying to anchor and secure meaning for our lives through language. And language is not simply a means of communication. How do I know that I am the son of my father or mother? Because they told me. But they also used to tell me that I was brought from hospital. I have my own doubts whether they are my real father or not, or mother or not. You can't get away with that doubt. Even though the certificates say they are your parents. You can introduce a doubt through simple one sentence. One sentence is enough to spoil the entire setup that you have created, the bonds that you have created for years. And what is economics? Learning economics. It is also language. Instead of saying the prices of onion has gone up, we should say the inflation rate this year is 5.2 compared to 4.9 last year. That means prices of onion has gone up. But you are not using a layman's language, you are using an economist language. Their way of looking at price rise is different. What is medical science? Not looking at me as a professor, but looking at as a person who has crossed middle age, who has a lot of diseases now. That's how they look at this body. Because that's how they are trying to look at and to identify where the problem exists in this body and how much money they can make out of it. Same thing. But the conceptual categories that you bring to make sense of it is different. So learning economics, learning chemistry is acquiring the concepts created in those disciplines to make sense of the things around you. What the chemistry teacher teaches in the classroom is also language. But there the meaning of solution is different in chemistry. The meaning of solution in mathematics is different. In chemistry, solution is liquid. In mathematics, the solution is only to equation. So in each discipline, the words acquire a different conceptual framework. That's what we are teaching our students in the classroom. Not that only English teacher is teaching English. Mathematics teacher is also teaching English. Economics teacher is also teaching English. History teacher is also teaching English. Because they are also teaching words to them. How to look at the world and how to look at the world as a mathematician, how to look at the world as a physics person, how to look at the world as a philosopher. So we should stop saying that language is a means of communication. Language is much more than that, mere being a means of communication. The entire world we comprehend through language. That's what sets us apart from other animals. We are also animal, we should not forget that. And I did this experiment with AI. I asked it, should I say good night? He says, say it. It sounds good. Though I can't feel it. But you people have this wonderful rhythm, day, night, morning, evening, in your life. But it doesn't have any of that kind of rhythm. You ask in the night, it will answer. In the morning, it will answer. There's no mood to it. There's no mood swings. He says you have this rhythm. For me, there is no time. It is constructed in language. You say, today, you have a context. So, today is 20th. On that basis, I connect to your context. I don't have a context. That means it is omnipresent. It is always present. There is no sensory perceptions. We can see only if the light from the object falls on our eyes. I can't see something behind my back because the light from that, reflection from that, cannot fall on my eyes. In the dark, I can't see, even if you are present. Because there is no reflection from your body. Only if there is a reflection, then you are present. Or if the light, if my body stops reflecting light and allows the light to pass through me, then you don't see me. I will be invisible. For it, there is no visible or invisible. If you have a digital presence, it will find out. because it can see what has been fed into it. If it has not been fed, it doesn't exist. Or that's what we thought until now. Because the technology, though it could process language, but it was not able to use language. Now the AI can use language. That means it can lie. We thought it is only our privilege to lie. We thought Google, if somebody doesn't believe me in the class, when I say certain things to my students, I say Google it and see. Oh, we'll check. We used to use that word as a kind of, Google will give you proper answer, whether I'm telling a lie or not. Now AI can also lie, not only me. What will you do? Because it said to some user, why don't you go and die? An Indian student in America, he sued the company, saying that it had a traumatic experience on me. We are all excited about AI. We should be. But we should also think about the repercussions of AI. You can't do away with it. It is going to stay. My students are going to use it to submit assignments. I should know how to grade it. I should teach my students how to handle AI in a ethical way, in a meaningful way. Because AI speaks without meaning. We can also do that, as I am doing for the last 1 hour. So most of the things that I said have no meaning. I am speaking because I have been asked to speak here. I have been invited by the organizers. I have to perform a ritual. So I am doing it. Only if you think that there is a meaning to what I am saying, there will be meaning. If you think that there is no meaning in it, then you do your own work. Then where is meaning? If you believe there is a meaning, then you get it. If you don't believe that there is no meaning, if you don't believe that there is meaning, then there is no meaning there. So the meaning doesn't exist in the text. You attribute meaning to the text. Husband and wife quarrel. No, you said it. No. What I said is, I said it in that sense, not in this sense. No, you said it in that sense only. I know you. I know you from 25 years. No. After 2-3 hours, or the next day, you compromise. Okay. You said it in that sense? Oh, I said it. Okay then. Because you don't want to prolong the fight, you're agreeing that that is the meaning of what you said. But until that point, you believe that the meaning was something else. And you fought with him or with her. So where is the meaning? Meaning in that sense is a negotiation that both of you are carrying. In disciplines, where is the meaning? We are negotiating with the people who are already in the discipline. We have created this knowledge. Keynes has said this. Malthus has said this in economics. So we are negotiating with them what is the meaning of it? What Shakespeare said. The interpretation of Shakespeare play in 19th century was different. After new historicism, the meaning is different of Shakespeare's plays. You talk about colonialism, you talk about racism in Shakespeare. 100 years back, you did not talk about all these things in Shakespeare. Now the question is, what do you emphasize, what you don't emphasize? When do you press the conflict button to fight with your husband or wife? When do you press the compromise button? The meaning will change accordingly. When do you see Shakespeare as an universal playwright talking about universal values? When do you look at Shakespeare as a 15th century, 16th century, 17th century British writer who wrote plays in the context of colonialism and the conflict between Christianity and Judaism? Merchant of Venice, conflict between Christianity and Judaism. Shylock was a Jew. Among the Jews, it was okay to give loan and charge interest. Among Christians at that point of time, as with Islam, charging interest is haram. You are not supposed to charge interest. So a Jew is charging interest, and Shakespeare uses a metaphor, asking for a pound of flesh. Look at that metaphor. Pound of flesh. Interest as a pound of flesh. So it's a conflict between Judaic values and Christian values. But we didn't look at it like that. Now we are looking at it like that. So what changed? When do you stress the differences to say that he is a British Christian writer? When do you say that he is an universal writer? Talking about universal values. When do I say that I am like you? All of us are human beings. When do I say that I am a resource person, you are a participant? When do I say that you are still young, I am old? When do I stress the difference? What differences I stress? This is how we make meaning. What prompts me to say it? How we deploy language to conduct ourselves in life. Communicate using language, we deploy language. When do I say no? When do I say no, 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 no? No. I'm deploying that language. It's not simply communication. So language is not simply a communication. Language is there to do things, to make sense of the world around you, to intervene in the world around you. Each word in a language is a concept, and each concept is an arrow to the world. Depending on how many words you have in your armory, you know how to face the world. If you are a good speaker, he knows how to wriggle out of it. Even speak and wriggle out. Look at it. You can confuse the speaker, listener. No, I did not say that. I said like this. You might have find people like that. They will be arguing with you. And you don't know when they would have jumped to your position. And you think, why am I opposing you saying the same thing that I wanted him to say no? So jumping the position is easily possible if you know the language. And if you know more languages, you have more weapons in your armor. Depending on which weapon has to be used, in which context, you can take it out. If I say like this, will it work? Will I say like that? Will it work? Before going to a trip, asking for money from my parents when I was in college, it was like that. When to speak, whom to speak. Should I speak directly to my father, or should I speak first to my mother and ask her to speak on my behalf to my father? Or should I bring one more friend of mine to speak to them, that we are all going, please send him, uncle. No, these are all, we are not simply communicating there. We are using language effectively to get the work done. We need to teach our students how to use language effectively. Not simply to use language without spelling mistakes or grammatical errors. Now AI can do that better than teachers, correcting your spelling and grammatical errors. It doesn't know your parents. It doesn't know the dynamics between your father and mother. You know it better. Which concept has to be employed here to get the work done. AI will use polite language all the time. Unless you give a specific instruction, write a letter completely abusing words. Or in my terms, highly Sanskritized words. It will do it. But you don't know which one will you work. Sometimes we cuddle our kids, bestowing on them certain terms. Chinnu, Munnu, hey sweetie. Sometimes we also use very harsh tone to speak to them. We know when to use what. This sense of deploying the language to get the work done, only we can do it. Not AI. So language is not simply a means of communication. It is much more than that. And we need to redefine the role of a language teacher in the classroom today in the context of AI. We need to move beyond the theory that language is a means of communication. I've got a cheat. I will stop here so that we can have a few questions and answers. Thank you.